In July 2024, an image began circulating that seemed too convenient to be true. It shows a 20-year-old athlete in a dressing room, carefully bathing a 5-month-old infant in a blue plastic tub. When it first surfaced, the immediate reaction wasn't awe, it was skepticism. In an era of sophisticated AI generation, the composition felt like a manufactured narrative, a piece of digital folklore designed to go viral. But the photograph was real. The young man was Lionel Messi, caught at the exact moment he was beginning his own ascent toward becoming the greatest to ever play the game. And the baby in his arms was Lamine Yamal. 17 years later, that infant would become the youngest player to ever score in a European championship. The odds of this encounter are statistically negligible. We have to look at the specific, mundane events of 2007 to understand how these two paths crossed long before either of them knew the stakes. The setting was the Camp Nou in Barcelona. It is one of the most storied venues in sports, but on this particular day in 2007, the atmosphere was far more domestic than professional. The photo shoot was organized through a charity raffle. Barcelona had teamed up with UNICEF and a local newspaper for a simple calendar project, giving families the chance to have their children photographed with players from the first team. Sheila Abana and Munir Nasrawi, a couple living in the Rocafonda neighborhood, entered their 5-month-old son. They won through a literal draw of names, a moment of pure luck that placed them in the visitors' dressing room that afternoon. Joan Monfort, the photographer behind the lens, remembers Messi as being incredibly introverted. At 20, he was already a star on the pitch, but he was visibly out of his element when handed a newborn instead of a ball. Messi appeared nervous, unsure of how to even hold the child. It was the baby's mother, Sheila, who helped manage the situation, guiding the moment so Montfort could capture the necessary frames for the charity calendar. To the people in that room, it was a nice gesture for a good cause. Nobody realized they were documenting a bridge between two eras of the same club. That child grew up in Rocafonda, the same working-class community his parents had moved to as migrants. It was here that he began playing the game that the man in the photograph had already mastered. By 15, Yamal was already training with Barcelona's senior squad. He wasn't just following Messi's trajectory, he was moving through the ranks at a speed the club had never seen before. Most elite prospects debut at 18. Yamal broke into the rotation at 15, becoming Barcelona's youngest starter. Comparing them at age 17, the data is striking. Yamal has more first-team minutes and international appearances than Messi did at that exact same stage. This culminated in the summer of 2024, where he helped lead Spain to a European title, proving he could perform under the highest possible pressure. The baby in the tub didn't just grow up to play football. He grew up to become the benchmark for what a teenage prodigy can achieve in the modern era. We are now witnessing a rare overlap. Messi is entering the final chapters of his career, while Yamal is just beginning to write his own. This led fans to speculate on the ultimate collision, a potential meeting on the international stage. The possibility of these two facing one another for the world's most coveted trophy has become the sport's most anticipated narrative. For Joan Monfort, the man who took the photo 2 decades ago, the sensation is surreal. He's torn between the history he helped document and the future he's currently watching. On one side is the veteran, looking to sustain a level of dominance that has defined the last 20 years. On the other is the teenager, carrying a level of talent that feels like a direct echo of the man who held him in a dressing room. Football is often analyzed through tactics and data, but moments like this remind us of the sport's capacity for unscripted storytelling. When they eventually share a pitch again, it won't just be a match. It will be the conclusion of a story that started with a single raffle ticket and a camera flash 17 years ago.